following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As we start off the show, we're just under 2,100 points on the S&P cash by a dime. We've got 1.8 billion shares, so volume's pretty light. We had pretty much 2.2, 2.3 from Tuesday on, so we're about 500 million shares light back up here once again. Seeing a lot of very, very light stocks, or some stocks being pushed on a very light volume up today. And it looks to me like we've got a little bit of hang time out here, as they say in basketball. But we'll talk more about that in the near future. Anyway, what else do we have going on out here? Just a little bit of options rollover. I suspect that this is on the high side. I think we're probably going to see, or I'm looking for a market turn tomorrow. Either we're going to probably break out or break down. One of the two, and I think that's probably going to be happening late in the afternoon. Tonight, of course, we've got earnings, and we'll get into that a little bit. But as we like to start off always with the show, there's a little bit of history, and it's always repeating.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1895, the Railroad Gazette publishes the first description for a business audience of engineer Herman Hollerith's electric tabulating machine, a new data processing device that uses electrical signals to read, count, and sort punch cards, which the data are represented by an array of holes, i.e. the punch card. Hollerith's company, the tabulating machine company, is one of the ancestors of IBM. And of course, about, 10, 12 years after this, Einstein comes out with a lot of work on what light is, the nature of light and photons. And within a year or two, they start having photo detectors. And what, as these cards originally have to have a contact, and, they basically got to be checking them all the time because those contacts wear out fairly quickly with the punch cards, went to optical readers by about 1910, 1915. It's pretty early. And, of course, the real push for this technology was when a national income tax was come in and the IRS started snapping these things up left and right, along with the census. And, like I say, children are our future. It's robots and tabulating machines. But one of the reasons that I think it's kind of interesting is, of course, tonight we have IBM for earnings after the bell. Other things on this day that are very interesting to me is on 1812, on this day in England, mobs of manual laborers start throwing all kinds of stuff into mechanized looms and other kinds of machines. They are inspired by a guy named Ned Ludd. They are assumed to become known as Luddites. Of course, they're all just 100% sure that all their jobs are going to be taken away, something that has gone on for the last 200 years. Everybody always assumes that. There's always bigger and better jobs. And there is a great book on probably the insanity of all of this. It's called Rational, Rational. Oh, now I'm having a mental blank. Rational, I'll look it up during the break. Rational Optimism. What a great book. It goes through all the history of what a candle cost and then what a light bulb cost, and how all the technology improvements over time are making life better year after year. There's always some displacements, But within 30 years of a displacement, those people's children are living a life that they could have only drum about. The other reason I find Luddite so interesting is the problem in California with the water, because you've got a institutional Luddites out there that don't want anybody to have any water. And I saw a couple of things over the weekend on exactly how California got itself into this water problem. It's been basically they got a bunch of nutbats that probably came out of Berkeley that don't want anybody ever to build a dam. They needed to be able to have droughts are nothing new in California for the last couple of 100 years. And the idea was, of course, they got a lot more people out there now. You're probably going to have store a lot more water as these droughts come along. It's been 60 years since anybody's been allowed to build as much as a beaver dam in that state. And then there were all kinds of plans to bring water in elsewhere. And, of course, no one liked that either. They've spent enough water to fill and use for a year in, what was it, Los Angeles, to move 24 trout out of the way. And, of course, there's some little tiny fish that they think that it's worth more than everything else in the world. And, of course, in the meantime, we eat all the food that comes out of there. So it just kind of the Luddites continue to this day to be pound foolish and dollar penny wise, I guess is the way it's come. But nothing's ever changed. But I recommend that book highly. If you think that and you hate Walmart with a passion, you probably should read that book. I think as history and as an example, you would find out that at least historically, your arguments probably down the line, 20, 30 years, do not hold up. They've done nothing but improve the life of Americans since we founded and started working hard on industrialization. But on this day in 1912, a ton of idiots got together and decided to just oppose any kind of new technology. But that's where that saying comes from, if you've heard anything. And somehow I feel like I'm just surrounded by them every time I get into some kind of political discussion, like whether or not people should have water. Oh, yes. And by the way, for the last 10 years, they've been opposing desalinization so they could get water from the ocean because, of course, it's not natural. So anyway, maybe it's all road warrior stuff and it's all going to be blowing dust out there soon, but I wonder how long it takes for them to get the point. Anyway, yeah, well, somebody in the den is commenting that quite a few dam failures caused lots of life in California because they didn't hire engineers. If you go ahead and watch Chinatown, that movie what is it, about 1972, 74, was all about Mulholland. And a bunch of people out there building things that they had no idea how to build. All the other dams out there probably done fairly well if they were actually built by an engineer. He decided to build his bridge or widen it and not change the base of it. And, of course, he had pretty much total control back then. And no other engineers checked his work. And, of course, it failed. And I think that's but that Mulholland guy and the water issues go back to that movie. Yeah, today we don't need to worry about it. We've got professional engineers, and they know how to build things. These things don't have to be as big as some of the giant things. They won't even let somebody build as much as a pond or, without an act of Congress, build a swimming pool. So it's bigger out there. What else? The FBI, this is just kind of interesting to me because everybody always believes they've got such a great bead on things and they know things. right after 9/11, we found out that, yes, two people do share the same fingerprints. They arrested somebody thinking that they were, of course, a big terrorist, and he had all the hallmarks of it. But guess what? He had a pretty ironclad alibi, but because his fingerprints matched, they threw him in jail for about 2 years till they figured out they'd made a big mistake. I'm sure we as taxpayers gave him a ton of money. Everybody has always believed that microscopic hair comparisons are kind of almost the equivalent of DNA. We watch things like CSI, that kind of stuff. What we found out now is they just kind of made up a ton of microscopic hair comparison. 95% of the time they made mistakes, went in favor of the prosecutors of the 268 trials they've reviewed so far. But like DNA evidence, you need to make sure that science is a cruel mistress. But just like the FBI lied about fingerprints, they've lied about hair samples also. And yeah, it looks like we're probably going to see a lot of these cases revisited now that we actually know the truth. I just thought it was interesting because everybody always believes they know everything. And there's all kinds of things out there that have become political now, where everybody tells me that they know for a fact that there's things like global warming. Like I said, science is cruel mistress. Comes back to tell us that no, not everybody has a different fingerprint. No, hair comparisons are not the equivalent of DNA or a fingerprint match. There's a lot of stuff that people want us to believe for various reasons, and it takes a long time generally for the truth to come out. As Mark Twain said, a lie can travel around the world twice before the truth gets out the front door. Of course, John Corzine, the former MF Global Holdings chief executive and ex-chairman of Goldman Sachs before he became a governor, has discussed plans to start his own hedge fund in recent months. According to people familiar with the matter, Corzine will most likely be able to launch his fund after he gets over with MF Global stuff. Pre-trial motions are expected to go until at least February of next year. Commodities Trading Commission in June 2013 filed civil actions against him and is still collecting evidence for a possible trial. Of course, he must know where a lot of dead bodies are buried because he skated without the FBI is doing as much as a preliminary investigation with $1.5 billion missing. This guy's got some pull. We'll be back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Anyway, born under a lucky star, Mr. Corzine doesn't even get asked over where that $1.5 billion went to and how it came back and where it was at. Not a peep. No FBI investigation, no nothing. Talk about being born into the right star and the right party and having the right guy running the Justice Department. It probably doesn't get any better. Other things. Greece is the word. It is the word. The Greek government has ordered a mandatory transfer of all cash reserves from the state-owned enterprises to its central bank in a desperate bid to gather enough cash to remain solvent over the next 30 days. Basically, extreme urgent and unforeseen needs. So what did they do? They went to all the little hamlets and said, give me all your lira. It's time to go. I guess it's now euros, right? They don't got no more liras. Or what did they have before? I don't remember. And I was over there. All I remember is they had a lot of money with holes in it. It was like coins with holes. Anyway, it looks like the EU is putting a lot of pressure on them. There's probably, like China came out with its news out there. The real problem is probably not Greece. I think it's extremely quiet out there now, but there is yet another little country which no one's speaking about that may be the first to leave the EU, and that is Finland. They are quietly trying to get ready to exit, apparently kind of like the Swiss, thinking that maybe going along to get along is not a great deal. But they may be actually the first ones to leave, and a lot sooner than later. My little birdies say that they are working, and if it looks like Greece is going to leave, they're going to leave before Greece leaves. But I found it very interesting. Of course, if they do blow up here, the hit to these various countries is going to be interesting. 92 billion is the exposure for Germany to Greek bonds and debt. France is about 70 billion. Italy's about 61 billion. Spain's about 42 billion, and the Netherlands are about 20 billion. To give you an idea, basically they got about 270 million people in the EU. I think that's the last number I saw. That means that if we added all this debt up to EU countries, you're probably talking about $500 billion. I think, you know, we gave away, what, 800 billion in the Porculus bill. You got to think that probably they'd be able to take that hit. But isn't it already priced in? I think no one thinks that the Greeks are going to pay anything off. But if there are any kind of side projects out here, I think it would be very interesting to see what the hit is. But I don't know. Germany take 92 billion. They probably could take it in stride, don't you think? They just print the extra cash and be done with it. France has never quit printing, if they could now with the EU. Italy, Spain, Netherlands. What the funny thing is, Spain's got $42 billion worth of Greek debt. Talk about the pan calling and the kettle black. Pretty weird out there. But we're looking at that kind of stuff. In the meantime, like I said, volume is pretty light. We're at 2,100 on the S&P cash. A lot of this is options rollover. That'll go on through next, through tomorrow. We've got a little bit of earnings. IBM, I think a lot of people are very positive on, but they've got a huge exposure to what's going on in the rest of the world and the dollar index. And of course, that's up today is not going to do them any good, up 46 cents for the continuous contract at $98.98. Kind of look like we've got a lot of concerted effort, and when we get back, we'll talk about China. But, of course, the bounce out here probably twofold. One, a little bit of a continued effort on the dollar from Friday, trying to hold the dollar down from the people here, the Treasury and the Fed. But also a real push to print money in China is part of the other reason why we're seeing some dollar strength. Of course, we continue to see the central bankers not give a day between adding assistance to each other. I guess they think if they hang together, they won't hang separately. My guess is it doesn't matter.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're like me, you see the world's emerging nations as a very real opportunity, as these countries and their economies are developing right before our eyes. And you can rest assured that Everbank has spotted this opportunity too. In fact, they just recently unveiled the new 5-year market-safe Future Economy CD. This is a CD that could really deliver, but you only have until May 7th to take advantage. Consider the facts. If the future economy's currencies beat the US dollar over the CD term, you'll get all the upside. And should they lose, no worries. There's zero downside risk here, as you still get back 100% of your deposited principal. Intrigued yet? The May 7th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Anyway, I was talking to my engineer during the break here. I may have had a couple of hiccups in my internet connection out here, and I bought 5, because that was the limit, systems from Newegg yesterday to build some new computers. And I had the boxes and power supplies and video cards and stuff, but my computers were a couple of years. I've got a bunch of them here. So I decided, well, I saw this deal for 120 bucks, 8 gigs of memory, a pretty rockin' dual core motherboards and memory, basically 2166 memory, very, very fast stuff for about 125 bucks a system. I mean, talk about cheap computers out here. I bought them because you can basically overclock these things almost double with the stock coolers on them. And I don't keep computers that long anyway, so really great deal for me. But of course, I had all those computers. I was installing Windows on them, and I downloaded about 10 gigabytes of updates from Microsoft yesterday. I think they're throttling me just a little bit here. I think they don't like me going deep into the huge data download. Probably think I'm got a torrent cell running off my machine here. But the question was why I thought it was illegal to be throttling you anymore. And the FCC does not have the regulations out. They've told carriers not to do it, but there's I don't think that there's any rule of law that says that they can't throttle you if they dislike what you're doing anyway. if they ever went deep enough, they would see that it was all updates from Microsoft. It wasn't me downloading all kinds of movies. But my guess is that they see somebody downloading 10 gigabytes in a Sunday afternoon, and they just assume that it's that. But I do digress. 2099.62 on the S&P. Cash volume very light, 1.95 billion shares. I suspect they're going to try to hold this market up for a day. Just depends on how IBM comes in. Of course, they may threaten to buy all the shares that are outstanding, trying to hold that pig up. But, you know, what can you say about it? It's going to be tough. But it reminds me of that great IBM commercial. I play this clip occasionally, but it was from an IBM commercial.
Are you suggesting we throw money at the problem?
Precisely.
And that's what IBM's been doing for a couple of years now. They have two big problems going into earnings tonight. The first one, of course, is declining sales, but the other one is the whole issue of the NSA out here now. You know, we're back up into this high today, and they run this thing, but it's going to be very interesting to see how this thing out. I mean, for a good 6 months, we've been finding extreme sellers at about this 164, 165 level. It goes back to the huge volume day downs that we had in October, October 21st, 22nd. A lot of volume on this way that really where this stock broke down and where a lot of people are probably sellers anytime it gets back up to this level. I think there's a fairly decent short interest in this thing. I won't be playing it because you never know. Maybe they will threaten to buy the rest of the shares out there. Can't imagine that things are getting any better for them. They have some nice long-term things. I think the Watson product is really coming along, but they haven't been able to turn it into something that's a sellable product. I suspect they're getting close, but and the technology and the software to do so. But rare exceptions, they haven't sold a lot of those Watson systems yet, and they're putting about $1 billion into it in the next year and a half. And I think it's going to take that long to really give the case studies to big corporations to start buying these things. I think there is a market for it, and it's probably fairly large. The question is, are they going to hold the stock up for a year and a half? Why they have huge problems selling their cloud services, because, of course, everybody overseas thinks the NSA probably has a home office at IBM. And, you know, with that, compared with the dollar, compared with some other things. I think also there are several companies over the weekend that I saw that started to move their data centers to Ireland. And I thought that was very interesting. And, of course, the Irish are saying they won't let any NSA people come in. NSA will still get it. Whatever cable it comes in on, they'll come out there with a submarine and throw something over the top of it to splice into the cable to get them. They'll do whatever it takes. But I don't think we're going to have governments responding to any kind of or at least the Irish government responding to any kind of search warrants for data from the United States. I think they're just going to extend one finger from their hand, and that will be it, as long as they continue to get the business. And, of course, Ireland's no friend with everybody trying to beat up on them for companies coming to their country for a tax haven. They've done everything they could to attract business, and they're kind of miffed at the fact that the United States is giving a hard time for doing that. Of course, they basically did austerity before austerity was cool, and they pretty much come already out the other side of the tunnel, while the rest of us are waiting. So probably not a bad idea instead of throwing money at the problem. Anyway, IBM after the bell tonight. What else do we have? You can always email me at path@tfnn.com. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. I have to apologize. on Friday for the caller. I thought he had hung up already. I didn't know he was still in there. Just as we went to break, I heard him talking. But it would be out of that. Anyway, what else do we have going on out here? I wanted to look at some of these stocks that are up against resistance levels, especially with everybody wanting to be and get a nuke. I think we talked about this early last week and the day before CCJ really popped. It had a lot of volume. That was basically... what do we got here? Basically, we're 5.4 million shares through this previous February 17th high that had 2.1 million shares in, of course, uranium business. I think their mine is doing fairly well up north, too. But so many of these stocks are breaking these highs with lighter volume, pulling right back into the trading range. I think you still get a test of 1656. Question is just how many people are going to go for nuclear energy in the near future. Probably the biggest problem is just not using the new designs that would make nuclear energy as safe as any other type. But I don't know, a lot of people don't want to spend any money to build new nuclear power plants if they can't get them permitted because, of course, Luddites. I can understand the problems with the current designs are problematic, but the new Pebble designs would not melt down. And, of course, using water for the coolant, pretty bad idea. They've got a lot of new designs that I think the Russians and the Chinese are probably going to be farming out as they build theirs, which are basically cooled by sodium. And I think you can go to about 1,200 degrees for sodium instead of water, which, of course, starts trying to boil at 212 degrees. But anyway, Kamiko, I'm going to be watching this fairly closely. Not a lot of volume as we're hanging up here at these highs. Of course, the whole market problematic. That one may buck the trend out here. What else do we have? Let's take a quick look here. We've got a few out here that have tested lows on lighter volume. First Industrial Realty Trust, FR, like the Frank out here, has tested its low with little volume, actually less than half. Not a lot of these realty trusts showing a lot of strength in the market. March 10th, $19.89 with 900,000 shares. We got into it with 400,000 shares on Friday, and we're getting a little bounce out here, and volume's even increasing. So I don't know what they do. I'd have to dig back further, but one of the few stocks out there acting like it's got some decent lows. General Dynamics Corporation. I don't think I'd be short any of these military stocks anytime soon. These things are starting to really look like they've got some kind of floor in them. General Dynamics, 132.50 back on February 2nd. It had 2 million shares, pierced it with 1.6 million shares on March 13th. We're back into it with 1.2 million shares on Friday, and again, a bounce out here on light volume. But with anything in the Mid East ready to blow up at any moment, it'd be tough for me to look at here. We talked about GoGo on Friday with the caller. I said it basically had a fairly decent sell signal in that it tested its high on almost 50% volume, the March 17th high with 2.9 million shares. Came into it 2 days ago with on April 16th. It went a nickel above. It's closed back into the trading range. You got a doji out here. Any more back and any lower out here, I think you've got a pretty good clue that this thing is going to go back and try to test the April 1st low at $18.40. Of course, this is the company that tries to deliver internet on airplanes, and all the people I've talked to that have used it say it's very, very hit or miss. Sometimes it works wonderfully. Sometimes it doesn't work for more than 5 minutes at a time, and I haven't heard that they've solved that issue. But it looks to me like a big technical issue that they have to solve yet in these things. But it's hard to tell. The company's not really forthcoming on any of those problems. some of these other stocks that have kind of look to me like they've kind of come back against their highs and beating against them. H&E Equipment Services, HEES is the symbol on that one, $27.27, February 27th with 1.5 million shares. Got through it with 630,000 shares, or almost a third, a little more than a third out here. And that was 3 trading days ago. We've had some light volume. We continue to not want to push through this high, but volume very, very light out here. I'm not real familiar with what these folks do. So we'll do operates in equipment services company, rents, sells, and provides parts and service for high lift and aerial work platforms. They sell a lot of those cranes and earth moving equipments and truck categories and stuff, cherry pickers. They've got a fleet of 26,000, a little over 26,000 different devices out there that they rent and sell. So maybe they don't sell and rent as much stuff out there to the Northeast in those oil patches as they used to. Other stocks of interest out here. Kimco Realty, another one of these that's tested these REITs that has tested lows online or volume. So that may give you a little idea of where the strength in this market is. March 6th low, $25.25. 3.4 million shares. Got into it on Friday with 1.7. You can't get any more than 50% of volume down there. So if you were short this thing, I think you've found at least some level of support. And there's more than a few of these out here. Krispy Kreme, home of the almond paste donut out here that I lost about 15 pounds when I moved down south here because there was one right next to my office up north in Cincinnati. These things are addicting. I said that they were worse than crack as far as addicting. Of course, I never took crack, but I felt like they were. That almond paste glazed donut, what can you say? This looks like it's made a fairly decent low out here, too. It's in a lower trading range. $18.51 is the March 12th low. 2.6 million shares. Got into it with 860,000 shares on Friday. Went below it. It's closed back above it. So you are on a buy signal out here. And it's not a bad-looking stock. I don't think there's a lot of meat on the bone out here. Maybe back up to 21. But maybe if this based out for a while, maybe it would do better. Don't know what's really going on, of course, with everybody that's in the health kick, because I see a lot of overweight people that if we had one down here, they would be all over. Maybe there's some not around. There's just none around me and where I live in Tampa. Mohawk Industries, of course, this is Mr. Buffett's big deal out here. We went through all the housing stocks that looked like they were rather weak on Friday. And I think we've got some time. Maybe we'll hit that again. Certainly tried to break through it on decent and even higher volume 2 trading days ago. But volume really shrank on Friday. We're back into the trading range out here. You never know what Buffett's doing. Every time it probably comes to these lower levels, he's probably out there supporting his own stock. But not good that it got down there to begin with. We'll look at the housing stocks as we close up the day. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And my good friend Andy Heck has got a new article on Seeking Alpha. It's natural gas injections and higher prices. Go figure. So you can go check that out. Of course, Andy has not been a friend to higher gold prices.
And right now, gold is. Silver prices are also.
That gave you a moment of unnecessary censorship there. He didn't say anything bad. I just like to actually do that. That's one of my favorite Jimmy Kimmel things, unnecessary censorship. But he'll be on tomorrow night, and I guess he's in Thursday night. Then he's off for a little bit of vacation to go to his parents' 60th wedding anniversary. So good luck, Mr. Heck. Anyway, Mohawk Industries, we were looking at that. I wanted to look at a couple of those stocks from Friday, and I think they were actually Gartley patterns, if I'm not mistaken. Were they? No, I think that was the gold was in those Gartley patterns, so you got to be watching those fairly close. Let's go back to the scans, and I guess that was the 16th out here. I think it was KBH was one of them. KBH. Oh, it must be a Gartley pattern out here. I guess I was right. Yeah. We talked about that last week, and I said, well, it looks pretty much like these things are trying to confirm. One of the things that you really need to watch out in these, I don't short $16 stocks or $17 stocks, but the energy down on the X to A legs, just huge. And of course, if you look, you can see my power law vector indicator number. Basically, you had about a 10 down and a 5 up. You probably got about an 80% chance this goes back and hits the $11.76 low out here. So I am a bear on housing, at least back to the lows back in January. I don't know if that means that we are going to have higher interest rates in June, but it certainly looks to me like there isn't a lot of appetite for higher volume. You did have this thing gap up and away on the day that it went through the B point with higher volume, but then volume just goes to nothing all the way out to end the Gartley pattern. I suspect, like I said today, that pretty much seeing confirmation out here and pretty ugly stock patterns out here, at least in these. And I think you have the same, you pretty much have a Lennar completing a smaller one out here. So we'll be watching this light volume in it. So you got a little tiny Gartley pattern, not a huge one, but you want to keep on in that. What else we have out here? Was it 16th? Was it 17th? Maybe it was the 15th. Yeah. I got 1 minute. I wanted to look at the XLE out here. Of course, this one is up on very light volume today, kind of like everything else. We're at a fairly big inflection point in energy, so we'll see that in a little bit. But right around this 82, 81 level, the volume drops out of the XLE today for a fairly decent move. Not getting much juice up here. We had 21 million shares on Thursday, got about 10 million shares today. Didn't break the high. I think we were about 10 cents from it. But I think, like I said, tomorrow is kind of probably going to be a do or die for this market. We've got so many of these stocks setting up for either completions of Gartley patterns and or tests of the top. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.